Mohamed Iqbal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship. I thank my honourable friend, the member for Malden, for securing this important debate. Whilst researching and whilst sitting here to hear that LFR has been in use since 2017 without any specific legislation in place to control its use and to protect our civil liberties is quite frankly shocking. And it's 7 years too many without legislation. The use of real-time facial recognition in the United Kingdom, whilst I agree this technology promises enhanced security and efficiency, it also raises significant legal and moral concerns with severe adverse consequences for our society. And as an ex-software test manager, I am extremely concerned that private companies who are profiting from their technology are allowed to self-regulate and to confirm the efficacy of the products that they sell. And the police are guided by these companies in how to use these tools and to rely on the report of their efficacy to take further legal action against innocent civilians. So the technology operates by capturing and analysing biometric data, which is highly sensitive and personal. The legal framework for its use, as has been mentioned, is complex and at times insufficient. The UK Data Protection Act 2018 and the General Data Protection Regulation provide some safeguards requiring that data processing be fair, necessary and proportionate. However, the lack of specific legislation for facial recognition technology leaves huge room for misuse and overreach. The deployment of this technology without explicit consent undermines several of our fundamental rights, some of which have already been mentioned. The first, the right to privacy. The constant surveillance and collection of biometric data without explicit consent infringe on an individual's privacy rights. This is particularly concerning when the technology is used in public spaces without people's knowledge. Second, the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and expression. The use of facial recognition can deter individuals from participating in protests or public gatherings due to the fear of being monitored or identified. This undermines the fundamental rights to assemble and express opinions freely. The right to non-discrimination. As has been mentioned, facial recognition systems have been shown to have higher error rates for people of colour, women and younger individuals. This bias can lead to disproportionate targeting and wrongful arrests, exacerbating existing inequalities and discrimination. And finally, the right to data protection. The collection, storage and processing of biometric data must comply with data protection laws. Inadequate safeguards can lead to unauthorised access and misuse of personal data. Examples have been cited by my honourable friend from Leicester South about how this technology is used in Russia and in China. And we also know it's extensively used in Israel as part of its apartheid regime and occupation of the Palestinian people. The violations highlight the need for strict regulation and oversight to ensure that the deployment of facial recognition technology does not infringe on fundamental human rights. It subjects individuals to constant surveillance, often without their knowledge, eroding trust in public institutions. The ethical principle of autonomy is compromised when people are unaware that their biometric data is being collected and analysed. Regarding its efficacy and its unreliability, I cite some examples. In 2020, the Court of Appeal found that South Wales Police's use of facial recognition technology was unlawful, breaching privacy rights and failing to adequately assess the risks of individual freedoms. Moreover, the technology's accuracy is not infallible, Misidentifications can lead to miscarriages of justice where innocent individuals are wrongfully accused or detained. The disproportionate impact on black and people of colour. The impact of FR technology on black and people of colour is particularly concerning. Research has consistently shown that these systems are more likely to misidentify individuals from these groups. For example, and I don't know how old this study is, the study by the National Institute of Standards and Technology found that FR algorithms were up to 100 times more likely to misidentify black and Asian faces compared to white faces. This disparity not only undermines a technology's reliability, but also perpetuates systemic racism. In practice, this means that black people and people of colour are more likely to be subjected to unwanted surveillance and scrutiny, which can lead to a range of negative outcomes. Other examples of miscarriages of justice and misuse. In one instance, the Metropolitan Police used FR technology at the Notting Hill Carnival, leading to the wrongful identification and harassment of innocent individuals. These and the other examples cited by my honourable friends underscore the potential for significant harm when this technology is deployed without adequate safeguards. In conclusion, Madam Chair, while facial recognition technology offers potential benefits, its deployment must be carefully regulated to prevent misuse and protect individual rights. The legal framework needs to be strengthened to ensure that the use of technology is transparent, accountable, and subject to rigorous oversight. We must also address the inherent bias in these systems to prevent further entrenchment of racial inequalities. As we navigate the complexities of integrating new technologies into our society, let us prioritise the protection of our fundamental rights and ensure that advancements serve to enhance rather than undermine our collective well-being.